Hey, thanks for joining us tonight for our virtual cooking demo. We're going to do a spiced rub chicken breast that we pan-sear in a skillet. In that same skillet, we're going to finish with a Texas mushroom saute. And then we're going to do a Brussels sprout, fennel, sweet potato hash. So it'll go delicious, and it's perfect for this aspirational fall meal. A little bit about us, I'm Jordan Swim, and we own Vestals Catering. Started out of our house 13 years ago, and now we're one of Texas's top caterers, and we love serving you, and we're so glad that you tuned in today. Hopefully you've had a lot of time to enjoy cooking during this quarantine, but more importantly now, hopefully you can invite people over to your home and have a meal, a special meal. So let's get started. There's a few steps that we've done ahead. I'm going to let Tori, our wonderful cameraman, kind of zoom in. There's a few steps we've done ahead that you can kind of do it tonight as well. We've already kind of julienned our onion. We've minced up the bacon. We have halved and quartered the Brussels sprouts. We've diced up the apple. We've diced up the sweet potato, and we've done a simple dice on the fennel. We've sliced the Texas mushrooms, and then we have our cream, our white wine, our spice rub for our chicken that I've already rubbed. The chicken that you have tonight is going to be marinated, and it's also with our house spice rub. In this rub is chili, paprika, cumin, oregano, a little bit of garlic, and the signature is a little bit of curry powder. That curry powder helps bring it in. It's one of our signature spices that we do here at Vestals. So I'm going to preheat my skillet. I got both skillets going. You probably are working on a better range than I got here. Both of them medium heat. We want to preheat the skillet because we're going to start our hash, and we need to let that hash steam and begin to cook. And so we wanted to get that going, and then this pan is what we're going to sear our chicken off in as well. So the first thing I'm going to do in skillet number one is add just a little bit of oil. What we're using is a neutral olive oil. Sometimes we can use canola oil, we use butter. The problem with butter in this hash is the butter will burn. The other reason why we don't want to use extra virgin olive oil, especially in this saute, is because the flavor is a little strong to use, but if that's all you have at your home, that's perfectly fine. So I begin to move my skillet around. I see the heat of the oil begin to thin it out, and the first thing I want to do is I want to add my aromatics, which is my onion. Crank the heat up a little bit. And then a little bit of the fennel. Now I'm going to keep on one side this onion and fennel cooking. On the other side of the pan, what I want to do is I'm going to add in my bacon. What this allows us to do is the bacon fat to begin to be rendered out so that we don't have mushy bacon, but also infused, because we need these onions and that fennel to begin to cook and form the foundation of that dish. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to switch here just a minute so that I can get my chicken browning as well. On this, I'm using a slightly non-stick pan. The reason why is I want to get a nice sear on the chicken. Again, I'm just taking the oil around the pan. Now here's my chicken. I've rubbed it with a little bit of the spice rub. I'm going to take it a little bit more, and I'm going to take it and then rub it, flip it on the back, and rub that as well. You have, in your package tonight, 2 different thin chicken breasts. I'm going to let this get heated up. I also feel my heat. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to let that begin to cook and sizzle there. What I'm looking to do is I'm not going to finish that chicken all the way right now, but we will finish it and then let that go down. So I've got my onion working, my fennel, I have my bacon, and then we have the chicken breast ready to cook as well. I'm going to turn around. We've got the magic of the kitchen here, and then we're going to work on wash our hands. And then Beverly, this is most important for you. Beverly brought us a glass of wine. Hopefully at home tonight, you are working and you've got a nice glass of wine. So cheers to you. Thanks for being a part of this. So the chicken's beginning to cook. The most important part when you sear your chicken or you sear any piece of meat is that you let it stay on one side to evenly brown. It's called the Maillard reaction. The Maillard reaction is actually a chemical reaction that creates that crispy browning. Think crunchy French fries, potato chips, and that's what we're looking for. Now, if Tori, if you kind of come over here and you see in this pan, we see our bacon beginning to brown around, the vegetables beginning to cook. Hopefully it's smelling delicious at your house. I know it is here. And this is just the flavors are beginning to develop. Now, many of you are concerned. I can tell that you're concerned because I have not stirred or touched anything. One of the biggest problems that we do at home is our pans are not hot enough, and that then we also are stirring. So most everything that we cook is steam. We're steaming it all. And we really want to create that nice level of cooking. I'm gonna also let the wonderful and beautiful Beverly handle me. I'll just keep it me going this way. Handle some tongs over here. And then also a spatula. All right, so that's cooking. I've got some nice color. Now it's time for me to begin to work this saute. See how I got a little of those crispy bacon bits? I have some nice level of that. The bacon's looking delicious, the onions and the fennel. The next thing I want to add in is I want to add in the sweet potato, especially because the sweet potato is going to need some time to cook. You know that this dish, this hash, is done when the sweet potato has finished cooking. So what we want to do is we want to spread out that sweet potato, smash it down, and then we're going to just let it cook. Let it cook, cook, cook. Crank my heat up a little bit. Now my chicken is perfect. My chicken is ready to go. Look at this. We want a little slightly browned chicken. See the nice, beautiful spice that has come through? It's exactly what we're looking for. It's almost, you could almost call this a blackened chicken, but we call it our spice herb chicken that really, really works well and delicious. And especially that mushroom saute with a little bit of cream is gonna be a really nice complement onto that. I'm gonna add just at this point in time, just a little bit of salt. There's some salt in the pan, but we want to be able to salt all the way through the cooking process, and we're using kosher salt here. Go ahead and add my Brussels sprouts on top of there. Okay, now we have a really nice, beautiful piece of chicken that's nice and thin. What we're going to do is we're going to add it back in the pan here in a little bit. I'm going to show you the color I got here. See the nice color? This chicken is not all the way cooked through. I'm just gonna set it here on my cutting board and let that rest. Now in this same pan, what I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add in my mushrooms, all right? Now those mushrooms are gonna cook in a little bit of that chicken fat, the oil, and begin to absorb the flavor. One of the most important things that we need to do is we need to let these mushrooms sit and work through that. On here, we're gonna check our hash, moving through, saute. We're starting to get some flavor. The bacon's coming through. See how that just looks like fall? Still might be 95 degrees today, but we're glad that we're here. Now check my mushrooms out. I get the mushrooms, hit the fat, let that cook a little bit. Now one of the keys that we need to do in this sauce, I'm not ready to add my cream, is we just want to add a little bit of water. What the water is going to do, I'm not ready to add the wine yet either. The water is just aiding in the cooking process and a little bit of steam. The same thing with the water here is a little bit of water in this hash. What this does is now that I've got my caramelization, the water allows those vegetables to cook. Now as that water goes down, I've got a beautiful wine here. This is a Texas Viognier from Becker Vineyards. Viognier is a white blend, is a white grape that is from, typically from Rhone varietals in France. So I'm gonna let the mushrooms cook. I got those nice little bits there. Let that bring down. Now as this is also cooking on my hash, we're going to add in the apple. The apple is the last part that we want to add in. My pan's falling off here, so I'll fix that. And this is beautiful. Smell it. I get the bacon, I get the sweet potato, I get the Brussels. Crank that heat up and let that go. Beautiful dish. All right, now the sauce here for my chicken. I've got the beautiful flavor. I got the wine, I've got the mushrooms cooking. We're about to reintroduce that chicken as well into the dish. But first, before I add the chicken, I'm gonna add just a touch of that cream. Now everything should be pre-packaged and ready for you. The recipe might possibly say some different things than I'm saying, but that's because the recipe is the rules, but I always break the rules. That's okay. And I would imagine most of you are good enough cooks to figure it out if you need some other thoughts. So see this chicken right here? What we're gonna do is now introduce the chicken back into this mushroom sauce, and we're gonna let that cook. See how beautiful the color is of that right against those mushrooms? So what happens is we're letting Now, the flavors be introduced back in, and that's gonna flavor the cream sauce as well. One of the reasons why I keep stirring this is because I'm trying to make sure that even heat is happening. I'm shaking the pan. You can just as easily be working with a saute pan on here. I think this needs a little bit more water. And the reason why I can tell is you see on the pan how it's looking pretty dry, is I can add water or a little bit of stock. Sometimes the reason why I like to add water versus stock is because I'm not introducing a new flavor. You already have so many different flavors in the pan that we're trying to allow this to just cook up and meld together. This will probably take about, I would say, 15 minutes to cook until those sweet potatoes are soft and the Brussels sprouts are soft. The chicken in total needs about another 3 to 4 minutes. Bev, can I have a spoon to taste with? Two beautiful dishes, really nice pans. See how that's really working in tandem? That chicken is cooking up through. We've got our plates ready for this. And Beverly's gonna help me in a minute taste and make sure that we did a good job here. I'm gonna taste the sauce, very important. What I love about this is I get a little bit of that creaminess, but I get the wine. And then remember we did the water, which kind of made it almost like a mushroom stock. It's really not too heavy. It's not too concentrated. Typically you think of a mushroom cream sauce, and you think, oh, it's gonna be so heavy. But this is really nice, light, and bright. Really, really good flavors. Now I'm gonna not use this spoon again because of COVID. Sorry I'm not wearing my mask for you all today. But I want y'all to, I got these beautiful flavors here. Really nice things working. Brussels sprout, might need a little more salt. Delicious. Much more salt. Tastes like fall. That chicken, now you say, okay, how are we gonna know if the chicken's finished? There's a couple ways. We're gonna poke around with our knife. We're also gonna take our thermometer, and we're looking for that thermometer to be about 165. This chicken has cooked now in this about, and look, Miss Beverly brought us a thermometer. Oh yeah, so this just sits, it's already at 155, 157, so that just needs another minute on the heat, and then that's there. That's perfect. So why don't we come, Beverly, if you get us a couple spoons, we're gonna plate this up and do a little taste test here. All right. Tori, you'll take this in and do a beautiful little, see that beautiful hash right there? There's nice colors. And then here we have the beautiful chicken with the mushroom sauce. Oh yeah, that's perfect, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hash, beautiful colors. Okay? And I'm coming around at you. I'll pull this chicken out here. Beautifully done chicken. Look at that. Take my knife and I'm gonna slice it just at a diag. Oh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Nice and perfectly done. Set that just right on top of there. Okay. Then we need one more little ladle here. It's nice to be working in this kitchen with all this. We're gonna come and get our mushrooms. Texas mushrooms. Right on top there. And then we'll take a ladle of the sauce right on top of there. And we have our beautiful fall dish, the Brussels sprout hash with the spice rub chicken and our Texas mushroom sauce. We're gonna let Beverly come in. She's gonna come in. Come on, Beverly. She's our most beautiful event chef assistant we've ever had. Okay, let's taste it.
Okay.
Let's tell them what we think. Now, she hasn't had any wine yet. How's the chicken? Tender, spicy?
perfectly balanced.
Thank you. It's my first time. Mushroom.
Very good.
What I love about it is the vegetables still have the crispness and the fresh from that, but you have the richness from the spice in the chicken, the touch of cream, but you still don't feel like, you know, you could still go on a nice walk and not go to sleep.
It's a light.
Yeah.
It's a light dish.
And I love the apples too. We really appreciate you coming and cooking along with us tonight. We look forward to it again. And again, from everybody here at Vestals Catering, we wish you a wonderful, safe, and happy September.